Devashri.
I'm Anvita.
And Molly.
And welcome back to Off the Record.
So today, guys, we have our notes and we have some current events to talk about.
We also have pistachios and we have 2 bowls because by the time we're done this podcast, we're going to eat all of the pistachios and put all the shells in this bowl.
Not even, in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
I hope it's accurate.
Okay.
But one thing that I know everyone's been saying a lot of, everyone's kind of been freaking out, is about the Hantavirus.
Actually, I didn't even know about it until
Yeah, they had to explain it to me.
Which I can't believe because it's all I see is people freaking out.
It is
about
actually
the
all I see
Hantavirus.
too.
I don't know why I haven't seen it. I'm not on that side of TikTok.
Well, basically, what it is, well, I don't really know what it is, not gonna lie, but what happened was that there were 5 confirmed infections on a cruise ship that left from Argentina. I think it was a couple weeks ago, but they're now, now there's 150 people on this cruise ship with the people who are infected.
And they're quarantined, right?
Well, the people on this ship are quarantined, but
They just got out actually.
Mm-hmm.
They just got evacuated. Basically, like, the virus itself is said to have come from like rodents, so like like rats and such. I hate you. And so the 5 confirmed cases, once they like find everything out, they had everyone just like quarantined in their rooms for I wanted like a good like 2 weeks. They were stuck at Cape Verde, and they like weren't allowed to leave the boat. They weren't allowed to leave their rooms. Like they were just stuck there. And then I think just like 2 days ago or like something like that, they got all of them out.
But yeah, a lot of people are concerned because there are so many different people on this cruise ship from so many different countries, and that's how diseases like this can spread globally, like very quickly. There were already 3 people who have died. It was 1 person from Germany.
That's a weird
One person from Germany, and I think 2 people from the Netherlands died. So it's clearly a very serious illness, and it can be spread very quickly because of all of these people going to all different countries. So
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. Traveling is good, but
Traveling is good, but not getting a virus.
Not bringing
not
a
getting a
virus
virus while you're traveling.
I also, it just like reminds me of like 6 years ago, like COVID. Like, is this gonna be another coronavirus? Like, that's gonna be bad.
Especially since there are confirmed cases in different countries.
Yeah.
Like there's one, I don't know exactly what country, but it's in Europe, and I don't know, like either both the people in the couple or like one person, they have like a confirmed case of it from like bird watching or something like that.
From bird watching?
I don't think they went bird watching and they came back with it. I don't know the full like details about that, but so yeah.
Actually, when I was young, I watched this movie called The 5th Wave, and I'm sorry. And basically, it's like one of the things was a virus that killed all of humanity, and they said that birds are actually what spreads viruses the most, and if like any sort of virus comes from birds, like humans would be extinct within like weeks because of like how fast it can spread.
well, if the movie said it, then
That is true.
no, but it
Are
actually
bats
is.
types of birds? Are
Yeah.
bats types of
No,
birds?
they're not. They're mammals, guys.
Bats are mammals?
Okay, let's move on.
Wait, I thought bats lay little tiny
You
eggs.
just suck off.
Wait, I genuinely thought.
Bats do not lay eggs.
Yeah, bats. I know bats.
They're mammals.
I didn't know that. Okay, sorry, I feel like let's cut that out.
That's not getting
We're not cutting that out. Oh my god, bro.
But basically,
No one's
what
gonna
I
believe
said-
anything we say.
Yeah, now we're just gonna think we're unreliable. We're not. We've done our research, as you can see.
It's
But
like half a people.
today we kind of wanted to talk about just current events because we feel like there's a lot going on in the world right now. So we just addressed that virus issue. But in America right now, recently, I think last week, there was a attempted shooting at the White House Correspondents Dinner, which was insane. And the shooter was, I forget his name. He was a teacher from, actually search it up.
We don't have that much research.
He was a teacher from California, and he traveled from California to Washington D.C. and he was staying in the hotel that he was staying in the hotel that the dinner was at. And I watched all the CCTV footage. I actually did do research on this one.
Maybe you don't know the name
I
person.
just forget his name.
His
name is Mark or something.
Can we say his name?
Yeah.
Alleged
Yes, we can.
suspect as 31-year-old told Thomas Allen, who allegedly intended to target multiple Trump administration officials.
Okay.
So like the White House Correspondents Dinner is like, it's basically like this big dinner
It's an
that
annual dinner.
a lot of like politicians come to. Obviously the president, the vice president is there, and there's just like reporters, governors, like people from the House of Representatives. Like it's this massive thing. It's also extremely well guarded because there's so many political officials there, and so
Yeah.
Basically, in the CCTV footage I was watching, and it's official, it's from the White House that they released, the night before the hotel he was staying at, it was the same one, he like walked around the entire hotel multiple times for like an hour straight, figuring out where everything was. He like walked in and out of the gym, speaking to some of the desk personnel and like the hotel and everything, and you obviously couldn't hear what he was saying, but he figured his way around it. And I found out later, like just reading news and stuff, when the Secret Service raided his hotel room, they found at least 4 or 5 like F1 rifle, or F1 is not the name for it, some sort of rifle. And there were many rifles, so he definitely came well prepared, and it's great that no one got shot and no one was hurt. But yeah.
also I saw the CCTV footage of like him like breaking in almost, and it's like basically like he at the security checkpoints where like they have the big metal detectors, like one of them was like down, like they were fixing something, and the other one was
They
up.
were actually taking them down because this is after the dinner.
Oh, I didn't know
Everyone
that.
already came in, so like the dinner was starting, so they were just taking
Oh,
them
I didn't know that. I
down.
thought they just like fixed it. So he like comes in, he obviously like goes through the one standing metal detector, and he shoots at the Secret Service officers that are there, and I think they do start shooting back, but I don't know if he makes it past them.
He made it past, so if this is like the line and there's like a little opening here and the metal detector is down right here, he comes out this door, runs through, but there's a bunch of Secret Service here and they all point this like their guns at him. Eventually, like I don't know if they shoot him or not,
Does
but
he get shot?
I don't think he got shot. And then other Secret Service personnel come out the side door, and there's just like at least 30 Secret Service people in that room with him, like within a matter of seconds. And eventually they pin him to the ground and arrest him, obviously. And then they begin to evacuate everyone out of the dinner. I actually also saw J.D. Vance, the vice president, he got evacuated before,
before
President Trump.
I saw that.
I don't know, like, if that was purposeful, or I also saw a lot of things that it's just the vice president and the president have their own Secret Service like guards,
Yeah,
so it's
that's
just
who is there.
they work independently, I guess.
Also, in like a White House, like they obviously had a press conference afterwards, and at the press conference, Trump was speaking. Also, his the first lady was there, which isn't like normal to see at press conferences, but I guess she was also there. And he was saying that he was never worried about it. Like even when he had to like get down, he was like he didn't think that he was gonna get shot. Like he believed in his like Secret Service guards, and he didn't think that anything was gonna happen to him, which it's a miracle that like it didn't.
Yeah, I think it just makes me wonder. Clearly, the man, I forget his name already. What do you say? Cole Thomas. He was targeting the Trump administration, which, although there's a lot of like controversy with the administration right now, and a lot of people don't like it, a lot of people like it, and it's just very
Mixed.
Yeah, it's very mixed. Violence is never the answer. I don't think that was right. Obviously, you can not agree with an administration and you can hate it as much as you want. And I think many people in the country do right now, and it's valid. It's just, it's not okay to try and shoot the entire party down. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah, it's just crazy that that's like the world we live in. Like with the amount of like political division that there is right now is like truly insane. And yeah, it's again like it doesn't really matter. Like we all have our own opinions about the Trump administration and other political officials, but I mean obviously,
and it's
violence is
also
not the answer.
It's also like we'd seen something similar with the assassination of Charlie Kirk in September, and like hate him as much as you want, love him as much as you want, disagree with his morals, agree with them. He wrongfully died. He should not have died. No one should ever die for their political beliefs. And it's just like crazy to see like that being attempted to happen again. And also his wife was also in attendance. Charlie Kirk's wife was in attendance at the Correspondents Dinner. So imagine like how it is for her having to like her husband died, and then she also is at the same dinner where at the same dinner where like an attempted murder almost happened.
Yeah, I definitely think it's insane, and like I feel like in the past few years, especially with this new administration, even before the administration came to office, we saw back in 2024 when Trump was running, we saw his attempted shooting, and he actually did get shot in the ear. That was in Pennsylvania, which is where we're from. And it's just insane. Like, I feel like in these past few years, we've just been seeing violence over violence over violence. And I didn't see these kinds of things with the Biden administration, part of the Obama administration.
Even in the previous Trump administration.
Yeah, like, it's just, it's insane to what Molly said, like, what our world has come to. And I think, people need to take something from that and realize that, like, it's like violence is not okay, and it's not going to fix things, and we need to learn from that and understand that it's just not going to work out. But I also think the current administration and future administrations also need to take into account that maybe what they're doing is not making the public so happy, and it could be driving them to do such rash activities.
Yeah, I think, as you said, a lot of people are unhappy with the Trump administration. I think one of the big reasons why for most people is just the division that has been caused in the US. Like, there's just so much, like, political, like, I don't know, I just said division, but, like, I think one of the main things that the administration does a lot is, like, and both political parties do this, to be fair, but they like to cause fear about the other side and just talk about how they're just so evil and like there's no room for any cooperation, but that's the only way real change gets done in our country is with like bipartisan cooperation. And I think just like the way our political landscape looks right now, it's like almost impossible because of the way a lot of these elected officials act and like try to spin the narrative to make everyone else seem like evil.
Yeah, it's also come to a point where like I think a lot of the politicians forget that we still have Congress where Republicans and Democrats have to work together, and it's just not helping getting any laws passed when both sides are so radical and so non-cooperative, and it's created so much division in our country.
But yeah, moving on to another topic, we just like there's been so many things that are happening, so we're just going to jump around a little bit. A couple weeks ago, the UAE announced that they're going to be leaving OPEC. I think as of May 1st, so they're officially no longer in OPEC. Yeah. No, it's the 7th.
It's the 7th.
Oh, it's the 7th?
It's the 7th.
It is the 7th. Sorry.
You could get me with that too.
I just airborne. But yeah, so they're officially not in OPEC. So like what that means
is major.
Yeah, that is like pretty big. So OPEC is like the like organization for oil producing countries to be a part of. They control all the oil prices for the countries involved. Like they dominate all of the oil that we need for energy and stuff. Like they're like the main thing. And we've been seeing it's okay. It was green before. We've been seeing cracks in OPEC in recent years. What countries left? It was Qatar and Angola left, but those are smaller countries. The UAE has like massive economic power. They have Dubai. They have like a lot of oil reserves, so it's really significant that they left. And it just shows like a shift in OPEC's power because it's been around for 50 years, and like its peak, like in the 70s, they controlled like almost 60% of the world's oil.
Do we know why they decided to leave?
Well, one of the big reasons is because right now in OPEC, the like leader of it all is Saudi Arabia, and they're kind of like the big dog of OPEC, and obviously the UAE is a country with a lot, as I said, a lot of economic power, and so they don't really want to be
Second?
the second one. And another reason why is because the world is becoming less and less dependent on oil reserves. Of course, it's still important to us, but with like new technology and electric vehicles, I think it's projected that in the next couple of years, China will reach its peak of oil use.
I think it was next year.
Really? Yeah. So it's gonna be like soon. Like the our dependence on oil is going down, and because of that, the UAE wants to make as much money off of it as possible.
Yeah.
But with OPEC regulating how much they sell, how much they charge for it, it's not so easy to do that. So that's another big reason why.
It's also just gonna make it more difficult for countries that are more reliant on OPEC to have access to oil, whereas countries that are more independent and already produce a lot of oil themselves will kind of thrive, because I know America, Brazil, Mexico, they're some of the countries that have their own production of oil. They produce oil and they are able to sustain off of not off of OPEC, whereas countries like Russia, Saudi Arabia, and like Molly mentioned, the other nations that are still a part of OPEC will be hurt by this because of UAE leaving, and there's just gonna be more demand on oil, but there's gonna be less supply for it.
It'll also be interesting to see how this affects like gas prices. They're a very big topic right now across the U.S. because they're super high. I know you can ask anyone everywhere. The gas prices.
$4.50 per gallon.
Yeah, it's like
Here is that in Pennsylvania?
and that's
That's at my local Wawa.
yeah, our local Wawa.
Our local Wawa.
So yeah, it varies, but it's very high, and that's a big issue for a lot of people. And the reason that it's so high is because the Strait of Hormuz is closed because of the Iranian war, which we talked about in a prior episode. We talked about the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, watch it. We talked about the Strait of Hormuz being closed and what that meant, and that's where most of the oil comes out of. But the interesting thing is that the UAE has a pipeline that bypasses the Strait of Hormuz where they can get oil out. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects gas prices, since the closing of the Strait of Hormuz has had such a large effect on it.
I think it's also interesting to see, like, I can't help but wonder, like, maybe they left OPEC like at this specific time because of what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz, and that a lot of countries like America are suffering because they're not able to get oil from Iran anymore through the Strait of Hormuz. So maybe because the UAE has that kind of pipeline, they're coming out specifically so they can sell this kind of oil. I feel like that would be a good use of it, and they could get money out of it. They could sell this oil to countries like America and many others that are not able to access the Strait of Hormuz and oil from Iran because of the war. So I feel like it's convenient timing for them, but at the same time, I also kind of wonder, since there's so many issues with oil right now, like, is this gonna drive countries, I don't know about America considering the political state of it right now, but I'm wondering if it's going to drive any countries to maybe pursue more environmental friendly forms of energy, and if they'll start investing in it more, because we've been knowing that oil is going to run out at some point. Now it's running out due to wars, but eventually it's going to run out due to the environment. So are countries going to be more inclined to invest into different kinds of projects?
I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that we've seen the opposite of happening. I don't know if you heard, Trump paid millions of dollars to not build wind turbines.
Yeah.
So
Also, I don't know if this is 100% true. I might have just seen this on Instagram. He was cutting funding for the Department of Education.
That's true.
oh yeah,
Fully.
That's true. That is true.
It is like, love him, hate him, I don't care. That's crazy.
I just think it's gonna affect a
Because
lot of.
I think he believes that it's a waste of money, but it's like public schools sort of like, I don't want to say they rely on the Department of Education, like maybe they don't, maybe they do, but like public schools are very common for like everyone, like a normal person, especially if you can't afford to go to a private school. If you
Most of the students in this country
go to public school, and even at that, like there's some people that are like, they can't afford to go to a private school, they can't afford to like go to these institutions where it's like privately owned, so they obviously go to the government owned schools. So why, like, I just think that cutting the funding for the Department of Education is such a terrible choice.
I just think it's honestly upsetting, because as students we're able to sit here, we're very privileged, we live in a good environment, we've grown up well, and we're able to sit here knowledgeable, and we're able to speak in front of a camera about these global issues, but that is because we've been given the right of education and the privilege of education, honestly. But it's honestly sad to see that being taken away for so many people. and it's just not right because education is something that everyone deserves to have, and although everyone does not have it, they should. And the fact that a country like America that is so economically progressed is trying to go backwards in terms of education, that really just doesn't make sense to me, because I feel like in comparison to a lot of countries that don't have the economic means to be able to support education for students, America does, and they're still not progressing with it.
Yeah, and it's only gonna fuel the inequality in even public education that we already have. We live in Pennsylvania, which is one of the worst states for inequality in public education. We actually go to one of the best school districts in Pennsylvania.
We're ranked number 2 in the state of Pennsylvania and number 22 in the nation.
Can we say that?
It's fine. But yeah, we go to one of the best schools in the state, like one of the best school districts. People move to our school district because we have such great schools. But if you drive like 5-10 minutes down the road to the other school district, it's not like that. And a lot of people leave that school district and come to ours, and that's because so much of our public school system is is reliant on property taxes. Mm-hmm. So the more wealthy people who live in the area, the more money that the school is getting. So this is only going to fuel that more, because they're not getting that federal funding that they need for these Title I schools, the poorer schools, who need the money. Instead, it's going to be keep fueling these schools that have the money that they need, and it's just going to deepen this inequality and this divide, and deepen the systemic racism that we've seen for years, by pushing these people of color into poor schools and now poor education.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wow, that was so
I didn't like that. Yeah,
It's a great place to.
yeah, I feel like that's a great place to stop. But basically, the education thing really gets me because it upsets me, considering.
And it impacts. It doesn't. We are privileged enough for it not to heavily impact us, but it does impact many other school districts that aren't on that need more government funding. Many other people that go to those school districts that now will have money cut from their schools. So we're privileged enough to say that it doesn't normally really affect us, but it does affect a lot of people in the United States.
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for watching.
Thank you.